Hello, my name is Tobias Altmüller, working at Bosch. Welcome at the Bosch Car Multimedia Show Car. As you know, in future the car will get your third living space. And that's what we are going to show you here today. It's our vision of 2021, 5 years from now on, of what we will have achieved in the next 5 years. What we are going to show you is based on 4 main messages. First, no frontiers. That means you have access, when you're in that car, to all the information related to your family, to your friends, with all the social media, to your smart home, for example, the security systems, the business-related topics. And we will show you how this might look like in the next 5 years. The second topic that we are addressing, well, it's derived from our Bosch slogan, Invented for Life. The car will take care of you, not only in terms of safety, with the help of all the driving assistance systems, but also in terms of security, with the help of Bosch security systems and the smart home appliances. The third topic that we are addressing, it's addressed the personalization. You know that from your smartphone. But this is much more than that. It's an extension of yourself. The car learns about you, and it also knows about what traffic means, what driving means, and how to support you in different situations, but not only while driving, also knowing about the other situations in your life. The fourth topic that we are addressing, it's about the holistic HMI design and the HMI concepts. That means we have different interaction technologies. And now the question is how this can be perceived as one system in the interaction with the user. Not having subdomains or subcomponents with whom you're interacting. It's one system, knowing about you in combination with personalization. That's gorgeous. That's what you're going to see in the demonstration. So what we are going to show you now, we have put in a storyline. And now let's start to see one day in life how our system will support you, starting with breakfast. That means you might have a smartphone or a tablet nearby. And accessing this, you have complete control over your car, and you can start configuring what is the typical route you'd like to take. Or especially on this day, you'd like to have more part with manual driving, specific routes that you like to drive manually, or driving in an automated way, thinking about specific topics that you have in mind. In addition, you can configure your home security systems, for example, and you can tell the car, come and pick me up, we are going to office now. And that's what happens. You're going out of the door, the car is already waiting for you, the doors are open, you can step in and start driving. The first thing Sam has to do once he stepped into the car is he has to authenticate himself with his fingerprint. He does it by putting his thumb here on the haptic display. Now his DNA is in the system and the process of personalization starts. When we are talking about personalization, it's not only addressing colors. We're also talking about which applications are available, how they are being distributed, which kind of support he will get in specific driving situations by the driver assistance systems, for example. While Sam prepares himself for driving, the car automatically drives towards the gate, but not leaving the property. For this, Sam has to take over control by putting both hands on the steering wheel, putting both thumbs at these buttons.
Automated mode disengaged.
And after 3 seconds, he took over control for manual drive. Now let's drive manually to office. As you can see there in the center display, there is some information about one of my colleagues. I want to get additional information about him. But since I'm driving in manual state...
Prepare to turn right. Turn right.
Since I'm driving manual mode, I want to address this information in a non-distractive way. So by looking at the road, with a simple gesture, I can activate the eye gaze feature. As you can see, depending on which screen I'm looking at, the center display or the cluster display, it's been highlighted. And now with a short gaze towards the central display and with a gesture, I can now expand the information.
Left.
I can now expand the information to the cluster display. And now it's on me as a driver to decide when it's the right time to read this. And here I can easily see that my colleague will be in office on time and we can have the meeting as scheduled. With a swipe gesture, I can move back the information to the central display, and with another gesture, I can switch off the gaze feature. And this is one example of how we combine different interaction technologies to access such level of information and how to distribute it among different displays. It's always the same type of gesture with which we address the system, and depending on the gaze where we are looking at, it decides whether it's affecting an application in cluster display or in central display. Now let's switch to the next use case. In the current setup, while driving in manual mode, we have the typical distribution of information. The main relevant driving information is shown in head-up display and also here in cluster display. In use cases later on, we will show you how we make use
Turn
of this
right
infrastructure
and enter the highway.
in different driving modes. We are entering the highway.
Incoming video conference call. Automated driving available.
Some colleagues trying to reach me in a video conference call. Since I'm driving in manual mode, I cannot pick up the call. But the system offered me, we are driving on a highway. The system could take over for automated drive, and that's what I'm doing right now. You can also see it here in the cluster display. We are still in manual driving mode, but the A indicates that automated drive is possible. So again, by putting both thumbs at these buttons,
Automated driving engaged.
now system took over. I can take the hands from the steering wheel and I can accept the call by a simple gesture. Here you can see two of my colleagues being in a video conference. And since we are now in automated driving mode, I can make use of this great infrastructure in a complete different way. I can use it as a complete working environment, also addressing the passenger display, for example. I can also select some documents which are being discussed during the presentation and expand them over the displays. And as you can see here, with the help of the different interaction technologies that we have and the large number of displays, I have a better working environment than I have in office, because this position is optimized for the driving position and everything is around me as a driver. I can also make use of the haptic display here and putting some notes for colleagues, which I could also save there. I can also make use of the information tunnel that we have here to organize documents, which I can access then later. Okay, now we are done with the video conference. One of my colleagues ending the video conference.
Please take back control now.
Since I was in manual driving mode before, system asked me whether I want to take over again. That's what I do now, again putting the hands on the steering wheel, both thumbs here.
Automated mode disengaged.
Now I took over
Take
for
the
manual
next
driving.
exit to the right.
Let's continue driving towards office.
Turn right.
Since my office is in a gated property, this offers to make use of additional features which will be available then in a couple of years in gated property environment, for example. So we are now passing the gate. And the nice thing is
Prepare
that
to turn left.
I can directly drive to the main building where I'm working at, and I can
Turn
step
left.
out of the car directly at the door where I will enter the building. Okay. Now we reached office. The car stops.
You have reached your destination.
So I'm activating the Valet parking feature, which I have to confirm by fingerprint again. So the car will take care of itself afterwards. But there was something else this afternoon. Let's check the calendar. I can also switch between these calendar entries. And as you can see there, at 2 o'clock, the tires should get changed. Fortunately, the Bosch service station is on the side within the gated property. So I can tell the car to go there and get the tires changed by itself. Again, I have to confirm by a fingerprint. I can step out of the car. So I take care of my business and the car takes care of itself. The car parks itself. And while I'm being in office, I can check whatever my car is doing with the help of a smartphone or a tablet, making use of the surround view feature to see from the perspective of the car what it's currently doing. So at 2 p.m., for example, the car is driving towards the service station to get the tires changed. And afterwards, from office, I can tell the car to come and pick me up at the gate or at the front door Now I can drive to school to pick up my son. Before continuing driving, again I have to authenticate myself. And now we can start driving. Again, driving in manual mode. Let's check the traffic situation.
Prepare to turn left. Turn left.
For the selected route, it's fine. No traffic jam expected. What I would like to show you now is how we can access a huge amount of data while driving, even in a manual way, in a non-destructive way. For this, let's switch to the music player. And as you can see, there are thousands of songs in the cloud which I can access. Would be too complicated now to navigate through these songs in a manual way, but with some steps I can now interact with our mood wheel to define what kind of mood I have or for which kind of mood I would like to hear some music. For example, I'd like to hear something more emotional, happy, and modern. And in an instance, the selection of music is being reduced that fits to that selection, and I can easily navigate with gesture within this music selection. I can also switch to predefined mood settings, the last selection, for example. Or I can also reset the selection and start from the beginning. Soon we will reach school where I will pick up my son. Interesting to know that my son Bart got his driving license just a couple of weeks back.
Prepare to turn right.
So we make use of each opportunity where he can drive, so he will take over driving to get more practice in becoming an experienced driver.
You have reached your destination.
So Sam will move over to the passenger seat and Bart takes over in the driver position. Once they got into a car, with a simple gesture, we can move the profile of Sam to the passenger side. And now Bart has to authenticate himself again with a fingerprint. And as you can see, Bart likes green. He likes his green style, also in the ambient light. And since Bart is a driver's beginner, we are driving in corporate driving mode, which means with the help of the driver assistance systems, we are helping him to guide his attention.
Right.
For example, there's a pedestrian crossing the street. And our system helps him also with ambient light and the information in the head-up display to guide his attention in the right time to the right place. This is also something that driver beginners have to learn. And with the intelligence and the knowledge that we have with all the driver assistance systems in this car, we can support him. Whether it's with the help of lane keeping support to keep his attention high, or making use of the ambient light if a car passes nearby as an extension to the blind spot detection. Also, young drivers might easily get distracted by using whatever other devices or they have in their mind. And if they get too close to another vehicle, we can also make use of ambient light and acoustic and visual warning and head-up display to keep the attention high. Another example of lane keeping support. And now we are approaching a traffic jam. And you all know how boring it is to follow a traffic jam and still keeping the attention high in this boring situation. But that's something that you have to learn. Keeping the attention high and following the traffic jam at a safe distance. And that's what our system is doing. It's doing nothing. The driver has to follow accordingly, but the system is monitoring the driver. Is monitoring the driver the way he's doing his job. And once he sees he's doing it fine for a certain time,
Consider using Traffic Jam Assist.
It proposes to make use of the Traffic Jam Assist. That's what we're doing right now. Again, putting both thumbs at the buttons.
Automated driving engaged.
Now the system will take care. And this is something that the driver also has to learn, how to interact with the assistance systems to gain confidence and trust in using them at the right time. Once a traffic situation has cleared, the car will speed up again and remind Bart to take over to continue with its practice.
Please take back control now.
That's what I'm doing.
Automated mode disengaged.
Now I continue driving in manual way.
Prepare to turn right. Turn right and enter the highway.
So we are on the way back home, entering the highway.
Incoming smart home call.
Someone was there at our house.
Automated driving available.
Someone rang the bell at our house and the Bosch security system is forwarding the call directly into our car. Since I'm driving in manual mode, I cannot take the call. The only option that I have is to cancel the call. But the system offered me to take over since we are driving on a highway. So that's what we're doing right now.
Automated driving engaged.
I gave control to the system. Now I'm being driven in an automated way. I can take off the hands from the steering wheel, and now I can start the conversation with whoever is waiting there at the door. So let's see what he wants. Oh, I know him. He wants to provide a package. And for this, he needs access to my house. Let's check different perspectives from the video cameras. There I can see he's alone. I know him pretty well. He comes at least 2 times a week to provide some packages. Now I can open the door for him. Again, I have to confirm this with a fingerprint. So in case someone else took the car, he won't be able to gain access to the house. And as you can see, the door in the background closes and the front door opens. Now he can step in, he can drop the package. He needs a kind of confirmation that he has provided the package. For this, I'm sending a fingerprint to him. With the help of the magic mirror in the hallway, he receives the confirmation, takes it over in his system. So he has a confirmation, he's leaving the house, the door closes automatically. Again, I check different camera perspective that he really left. Everything's fine, so I can now stop the conversation.
Please take back control now.
Since I was in manual driving mode before, let's continue in manual mode.
Automated mode disengaged. Take the next exit to the right.
Okay, so we're taking the next exit.
Turn right.
Towards driving home. Okay.
Turn right.
Here we are. Great, we reached home.
You have reached your destination.
Thanks. But before I open the gate, I want to be sure that everything is secure there. So let's check the security cameras. Since the car stands still, I can make use again of this great infrastructure to see from different camera perspective what happens at home. No one's there, everything's secure. Let's also check the security system. And the progress of testing, you can also see there in the ambient light. And as we see here in the center display, everything's secure at home. Now I could enter. But before, let's check the car surrounding to ensure that no one's hiding behind the car trying to get on my property once the gate opens. With the help of the surround view feature, I can check that everything is fine. Okay, everything's fine. Now the gate can open and I can enter my property. We can also use this feature to detect obstacles, making sure we're not hitting them. And now I can stop the car right before the front door to step out. Since we are in a gated property, I can tell the car to park itself, making use of the Valet parking feature, which again I have to confirm by a fingerprint. The door opens, I can step out, and while I take care of my things, the car takes care of itself. It parks itself, it charges itself, it prepares itself for the next ride. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it.